Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about something that is really important to me and has really changed my life, and that is Jenkum.
There's a new way for your kids to get high. They're using raw sewage.
I couldn't imagine doing something like that. Sounds pretty sick to me.
Honestly, they need to find something better to do with their life. Seriously.
Something new, something stimulating, something different.
There's a lot of people that say it's a hoax or it's not real or it's just made up or whatever. Now let's just get this out of the way first, so you can laugh it all off or whatever, You won't be laughing once you experience what I have and have your life change. But, it's human waste. It's, shit.
Hey, talk about shit on a Friday. What's up, everybody? It is comedian Josh Denny here, the most canceled comedian on the internet, with a fun little Friday episode of Jenkum to get you going for your weekend. So we usually come out on Mondays. We're doing a special one here on Friday with my very funny friend, fellow comedian, and Libertarian extraordinaire, I guess we'd throw in the mix. Adam Nutter, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, buddy.
I'm the poor man's Dave Smith.
Yeah, is that your official branding?
It is.
The poor man's Dave Smith. Now, poor man in terms of your clout in the libertarian community or in the comedy community?
Both.
Okay, I like it.
Both.
I like it.
I hear an echo of myself in my headphones. Is that weird?
Yeah, it could be my settings. So I was trying to tweak that right before we jumped in. Let me do this. That should have fixed it. Did that fix it?
Yes, it did. Because I was like, that's going to drive me crazy for the
echo solved. Yeah. So it's this weird setting I have set up on this, and I got to get it. I got to change the settings on it or whatever. But the good news is the problem that causes that will be solved on Monday. I just ordered a new piece of equipment today that's going to fix all my fucking problems. So thank God for that. What's going on with you this Friday, man? You got some shows coming up I know you were telling me about.
Yeah, not this weekend, but on the 16th, I got the show that I run monthly outside of Philly that me and my buddy Neil would run. Another fellow comic I do my comedy podcast with. As a pop-in Chalfont, Pennsylvania. It's 2 shows, 7 to 9:30. Yeah, you know Natalie Cuomo? She's like on Gas Digital.
Yeah, I know Natalie.
Yeah,
she was on the show that I did that nobody showed up to in New York last year. Yeah, we did a show on it was like we did the dojo, and it was Passover weekend. And I know like most of my friends in New York are Jews. So like they were all like, "Yo, dude, we're not coming because it's Passover weekend.
Right.
Like, we get fucking Shabbos."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but that's not going to be everybody. Like, it's a small room. We'll sell some tickets. Like, if we do a show for 30 people, that'll be cool. Dude, fucking like 5 of my friends showed up, and there was like 7 comics, and that was it. And 2 trolls. And
the worst.
And it was just horrible. And so I asked Romanelli, who runs that room, I go, is this neighborhood like super Jewish? He's like, yeah, like 94%. I was like, that would have been helpful to know.
Okay, man, maybe be better at booking this weekend.
Yeah, like, hey, I literally every other Jewish comic is looking, go ahead, take that week, you stupid motherfucker.
Yeah, you idiot. Yeah, no one's going to be there.
Yeah, like Bob does a show every Saturday there, or like one Saturday a month, and the fucking weekend was so soft, they canceled his Saturday show, and Romanelli was like, he's like, dude, Levy sells out every fucking month. I don't know what's going on. I go, it's Passover weekend in a Jewish neighborhood. That's pretty simple.
Of course. It's like, no one's going to come, dude. It's weird, like, no one else showed up, though. That's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, that's wild. Like, no one.
Yeah.
Also, it's also the worst. It's like,
bro, it happens.
No, I know for sure. I know. I mean, like the
we're also coming. Yeah, we're coming out of the pandemic, so I think people were still like, I'm not going back out to shit yet.
Yeah, no, and like the worst is like as a comic, like being in a room doing comedy, and there's just other comics in the room as the audience, and like no one cares, no one here cares about what's going on.
Dude, I was savage about it though. I was like, listen, I haven't been on stage in a year and a half. I'm doing this hour. I was like, I'm doing this fucking. Gino Bisconti was there, and I was like, Gino, I'll do this hour just for you, so you can give me feedback on it. Like, I got all this new shit. I was like, I'm doing my fucking time. Then a girl,
I flew out here. We're doing it.
Yeah, a girl had a seat. I was like, I'm old school. I'm like, I'm getting paid. If nobody showed up, that's an us problem. But me deciding not to perform would be a me problem, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I do the show and still got paid, a little something for my troubles, which was nice. And the venue didn't have to do that, but they did. And that was cool. And that's just because they're fucking great guys. But But Natalie was supposed to open for me on that show, and I hadn't met her. She'd done my podcast when she got booked. I had her on the podcast, and but Frank Pellegrino, who did the booking for me, and he was like, "I'll put Natalie on that show with you." And dude, because there was nobody there, she's like, "I'm not doing this. I am not doing time for comics and like 5 people." And I was like, "Sweetheart, that's the fucking gig, man. Sometimes that's the gig, and you got to show up and do your time."
Dude, I remember one time I had to do a show for like just one couple. like it is what it is. It's like,
yeah,
right,
I did that. I did that
right now. Yeah,
I did that a month later in Philly. Was because I had a weekend booked in Wilmington, and like the week of the show, the guy was like, "I want to add a Thursday," and I go, "During the NFL draft? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like the first night of the NFL draft is that Thursday night?" And like it was in Wilmington. It was that venue in Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, first of all, like it's literally a week's notice. We haven't sold out the 2 shows on Friday, so why would we add a day?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I go, just have them buy tickets on Friday. But then he was like, you know, because we sold a lot of tickets early for Friday, he was like, "I want to add this Thursday." And he goes, "If we add the Thursday, we'll do fine." And I was like, "All right, I go, if you want to pay me to do a Thursday, I'll do it. But I'm gonna tell you, like, I don't think anybody's coming." And it was literally a girl I went to high school with and a guy she met in the pandemic who like just got together. We're having a baby. She was like 8 months pregnant. And so it was literally just like me and 2 other comics performing for this one couple, which I didn't mind because I was like, cool, I can get sharp for the next couple shows the next night, which is like, I know I have like 65 of my friends and family coming out to those shows. That is a small venue. It holds like 50 people.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
I also think the draft was in Philly that year.
No, it was the last year. It wasn't in Philly. It was
okay.
It was in Philly like the year before.
You're right. Okay. Because I'm like, that would have been even, because everybody doesn't know Wilmington is right next to Philly, essentially. So it's like,
right.
No one would have been there if that was the case. Yeah, all right. It was the other year before that. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, and what's funny too is like it's an entirely black comedy venue, and you know he booked me in there. He was like, I want to diversify and mix it up. And I was driving through the neighborhood and got to the venue, and I go, "Hey man, lean into being the black comedy club. Like that's your demographics.
Wilmington is like very black. I mean,
and especially where he is in Wilmington. I was like, dude, do not. I know that you're thinking like I want to diversify my business, but like, be the place for black comedy first, and then branch out.
You'll crush it first of all
because I was
only
like,
one.
I go, not a single person that bought tickets was not somebody that was not a fan of mine or somebody I knew personally.
Right.
I was like, so there was nobody that went on your site and was like, "Ooh, Cracker Friday. Let me click on that and go to that show."
Yeah, no, dude,
it didn't happen.
My friend Anna, she does all my tattoos. She has her shop in Delaware, Wilmington. So like, I always drive through Wilmington. I'm like, this place is a shithole. Like,
it's fucking bad, dude.
It's like, you're like, dude, Baghdad looks better than fucking Wilmington, Delaware.
Bro, I grew up in Ridley Park, which is like Delaware County.
Yeah.
And but I was born at Crozier, and when you cross over the highway from the hospital there into Chester, that's like the worst fucking city on the East Coast. And Wilmington is starting to look like fucking Chester.
It's so bad.
Like, dude, it is. I mean, when I say like bad, I mean like burned out buildings.
Yes.
Just like abandoned. Like there isn't abandoned real estate in other parts of the country that lasts for like longer than a month before the city takes it and sells it to someone.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like there are literally like burned out crack houses in Chester that have been there since I was a child.
Dude, in Wilmington, as soon as you get off like 95 to like pull into Wilmington, Delaware, it's just like destroyed like railway station, like of course, like you're like just trash and everywhere. Then you make the left-hand turn and they're just like 18 zombies doing the zombie heroin lean on the fucking corner, just like like that whole thing. And you're like, all right, cool. And you drive past that, there's just people hustling for money. And then
dude.
And then you get past that, and then like you're in downtown Wilmington, and it still sucks. Like usually, like like in most downtown places, like you have to just get through the shit, and then you get to downtown, like, all right, well, this is nicer. Not so. Wilmington, you get through shit, and then it's just more shit in downtown Wilmington. It's the worst.
Yeah, some of my favorite food places in LA are in the roughest neighborhoods. I don't ever like lock the door. I don't ever look down and make sure my doors are locked when I drive through those neighborhoods in LA. In fucking Wilmington, when me and Mike Keegan were driving to that show, I was like, "Are these fucking doors locked, dude?" I was like,
it's so bad.
it's like,
so bad.
yeah, Deb, Chester's like a war zone. You could substitute it for Ukraine and fool people. Yeah, except I don't know that they have row homes in Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very Delaware, Philly thing, is like the row home. I mean, that's what my brother and sisters grew up in, was a row home in Leadham, Pennsylvania. But that's a very, row homes are a very distinct Philadelphia tri-state area thing. Like, and anybody who's watching this who's not from that area, let me find an example.
As a Staten Islander, because I'm wearing the hat right now, of native Staten Islander, we grew up, and obviously we had a lot of fucking those beach houses. Like those bungalow, like single beach houses that all got destroyed during Hurricane Sandy because there's zero foundation to them.
Just
like these
100%.
Essential shacks that just lasted for years somehow on the ocean front, and then a real storm came through, and people were like, "Oh yeah, this wasn't gonna work."
And people don't understand. Like, they're gonna see this example I pull up here for row homes, and they're gonna be like, "Well, yeah, but that's like the most impoverished version of it, right?" And it's like, nah, dude, this is like what most of the fucking row homes look like. This isn't like a worst case scenario of row homes. Like, this is
how they are.
This is what they look like. That's the wrong tab. Let me find this. Hold on, let me share my screen.
Again, as somebody who moved to Pennsylvania and now I live outside of Philly, but obviously traveling a lot, doing comedy and seeing, it's like, oh yeah, it's so distinct. Like the area you're in, like you see those, you're like, oh, I know where. Like you could get dropped, like you could blindfold you and drop you in some place, and you unblindfold you, and like, where are you? And you see row homes, you're like, probably Philly or Delco.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here's a good example. Like, I didn't realize that we grew up in this kind of poverty until I moved away. Like, that is what our fucking neighborhoods looked like in North. When I would go to my cousins in the summers in North Philadelphia, that's what they lived in. And I didn't think that was like abject poverty growing up.
Oh yeah, it's trash.
Like, I literally was just like, yeah, that's people's houses. And inside they'd be nice, right? Like, you go inside and it's not, but like, these things are fucking barely standing. And Chester, the houses in Chester, for people who can't visualize this, imagine all these windows broken and burned out, and the whole fucking place had been set on fire. And it's just insane. It's like, this is what we grew. Upper Darby is like this. What's Sharon Hill? Sharon Hill is like this. And even though I grew up, like, Ridley is the nicest part of Delco. Everything else in Delco is like this. Folsom, Sharon Hill, North Philly is like this. And then, like, the fact that people had home, like the house I grew up in, let's see if I can find it. The house I grew up in was a single family home, which was like, you basically had to have two incomes to have a single family home back then. And like, my family, my grandmother worked full time and my grandfather worked full time. And let me see if I can find it.
It's a very Philly thing I noticed too. Just again, being around Philly for the last 6 years is like those they're like, it's like a block of homes, regular homes, but then on the corner in the row of homes is like a bar. Yeah. Like the corner bar. It's very Philly. Like, it's like, again, that's not like that in New York at all. Like, growing up in New York, like bars are not just like on a corner like that. Like, some places in Brooklyn are and stuff like that. But like, if you drive through Philly, like almost every single block you go through, there was like the remnants of a corner bar, or like there is a corner bar somewhere. Like, it's wild. It's a very Philly thing too.
Dude, this is my childhood home that I grew up in. 143 Fairmount Road.
Wow.
And this is what it sells for today. It's off market. By the way, it was never a 3-bedroom. You see this little guy over here where the ladder is? That was a 1-car garage that we converted into my bedroom.
Oh.
There's 2 bedrooms over here on the left, the left, right, the bathroom's in the back corner, living room's here, kitchen's in the back. That's it. Super simple house. But the fact that my grandparents bought this house and it didn't connect to the other homes, and they had like a little bit of land, like, what they have, what's that, a quarter acre, an eighth an acre? Like, that was considered wildly extravagant back then.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
So it sells for like so it's like looking at like 205 they're selling it for now?
Yeah, that's what it goes for now, 205. By the way, to give people what does it say? Does it say what the mortgage estimation is on a 205? I mean, this is what's insane. No, I don't see it anywhere. What it says, like, what's your estimated?
You might have to like dig in more to it, but I'm assuming it would be like less than 1,000 or like, right?
Oh, it would definitely be less.
Yeah,
than
like
1,000.
or like $600-700 maybe.
Yeah, probably like $500 or $600
Yeah.
for that fucking joint. Like, it's insane.
I mean, so like, all right, the house I live in now, I live in Bucks County, which in Newtown, which is like
Outside of Philly, yeah.
Yeah, which is like a ritzy area, but like, you know, we really don't belong here. We snuck in. We like, you know what I'm saying? But, like,
Right.
but Newtown's like affluent, like, you know. But I live in like the cheapest part of Newtown, and I didn't know my wife when she bought this house. Like, she was still single or whatever. And she bought this house in the 2008 housing recession, pretty much. She brought it during like the housing crisis because she was a teacher, so she had money. So she bought this house at like super fucking cheap, and we're like an attached family, you know, like we're like an association, like a home association, and she bought it for like $140,000 or something, like super low. Now this goes for like 270 something. It's crazy because it's fucking nuts,
it's
dude.
all getting nuts in terms of like housing costs are going up everywhere in the country, but it's like, you know, even the idea people don't realize like that house I grew up in, $204,000, 3-bedroom, right? The kitchen's like the size of my apartment kitchen. Let's assume you put 20 down on that. I mean, even if we just do the math, right? Let's say you put 20,000 down on that house, which is like drop in the bucket. So let's say you finance 184 and you do it on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Your mortgage per year is $61.33. Let's say you get it at 9% interest. So your mortgage is $66.85 a year. Divide by 12, $557.
Wow,
is your mortgage payment. My rent is 4 times what it would cost to live in my grandparents' house today. You know, but this is what's funny is like when people talk about money and wealth, like the thing that nobody really understands is like a big leg up that a lot of people have is inheriting a home.
Yeah.
Right? And like my grandparents, they left that to my dad and his sisters. And then one of my aunts lived in that until she died and then left it to her kids. And then I think they just sold it because they had already all had their own houses or whatever. But it's like, you know, inheriting a home to live in is a massive expense. Mm-hmm. And we look at friends of ours and like, dude, you fucking wait tables and you bartend on the weekends. How the fuck do you have so much disposable income? And it's like, oh yeah, you live in your grandparents' house and you've never had to pay a mortgage or rent
I think
ever.
about that a lot. I see people with like just driving like brand new Jeeps and like, you work at Starbucks. What is happening here?
Right.
I'm like, am I failing? Like, what am I doing? Dude, I have to make... because you have like, again, like you said, like a paid off house already, which is a giant so luckily when my wife again bought this house, it was the fucking APR was super, it was like the lowest ever, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
So like, our mortgage is like $1,100. It's super fucking low, right? Yeah. For like, but we got lucky.
By the way, but as we just saw, that's like high for that area. So like that's you having a nicer house than maybe most people or average person. And it's still $1,100 a month.
Yeah. Yeah. But yes, for here it's low, but I guess for the average it's high. But like for Newtown, it's like, why we have $1 million houses here? Like, suck my dick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, we don't, there isn't, you literally, I bet if I walked outside down the street and like kicked a homeless guy's cardboard box, I'd be like, what'd you pay for this? I bet he paid more than $204,000 for his box. You can't live anything for $204,000 in California, owning it. Like, it doesn't exist. There isn't a $204,000 lot of land in Los Angeles.
I was last time I was in California. It was before COVID. I was doing shows out there, and it was like 3 of us, so we just rented like an Airbnb for the weekend because we were just doing. It was pretty much all the shows were like in like West Hollywood area. So like, fuck it, let's just get an Airbnb in West Hollywood, and we'll just do all the shows, you know, and it'll be easy for us. So fucking 2 guys I was with, they drank all night, and I don't drink, so like they just slept in. I woke up at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I was like, fuck it, I'll walk, get a Starbucks, and like I'll just walk around the neighborhood, like, you know, I'll just kill some time. Walk around the neighborhood with my Starbucks coffee, and I come across this open house, and I was like, fuck it, I'll go in it. Like, you know, I'll go in it. I'm just curious. And dude, it was a standard 2-story, 3-bedroom house, or, you know, 2.5 bath or 1.5 bathroom, like side garage, like nothing crazy, dude, nothing crazy. And I'm thinking like, this probably goes for like 500,000. And then I was like, I asked the delivery, I was like, how much? And she's like, oh, this is going for 1.1 million. I was like, suck my fucking dick. What?
Right? Yeah, dude.
It's because it's in West Hollywood. That's why.
Yeah, where I live in Burbank, you can get a house like maybe a street over from where I live for like 600,000. And you look at it and it's like, oh, it's got to be gutted. Anything under $1 million is like unlivable in Southern California. Like it's 600,000 is a complete teardown. It's like, ugh.
Yeah,
and then you wonder why like nobody can fucking get ahead in this city and why there's so many homeless and so much abject poverty. And so that's the thing is like you look at these people who, dude, my nut to get by every month is like $4,200. Like that's what bills are a month, 400.
Right.
It's like this idea that's why I love people are like, you're poor. I'm like, yeah, live as expensive as it is for me to live, making what you make, and try to figure out how you're gonna fucking make ends meet. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, you have to be. I have a buddy of mine who's in the comedy world, and he's like managing bars and restaurants. And he was like, yeah, this place offered me a job. They want to pay me $70,000. I was like, that's the poverty line in Los Angeles.
Which is crazy because if you make $70,000 in Pennsylvania,
anywhere else in the country,
not New York.
Yeah, not New York. Yeah, not New York. That's true.
Well, like again, I mean, I grew up in New York, and like my parents are finally moving out of Staten Island. Finally, like they're selling their house, but like, dude, the cost of living there is crazy, especially with all the inflation stuff that's going on now. Because all the bad politics, it's fucking like even higher, and like even the cost of like the regular diner food there is like $3-4 higher for everything else than it normally would have been, even like 4 years ago. So like, fuck New York City, dude. It's a fucking nightmare. Like, but Chicago, like, they're all the same. They're all fucking nightmares. Like but 70,000, like where I live now, dude, you're living great.
I know, man. That's what's so crazy. Is like people like I have friends in Minnesota. They're like, dude, I've owned a house since I was 23, and I go, yeah, your house was $42,000 when you bought it. Like, what are we even talking?
Do you ever see like a mansion in Dallas will go for like $800,000?
Oh yeah,
and it's like a legitimate mansion.
Brian Redband's house. He shared when he moved. He was like, I just bought my first home, and my mortgage is less than my rent has been in LA for like the last 10, 12 years.
Who the fuck? Why not? Well, yeah, can you move? Like for real? Can you get out?
Oh no, that's the plan at some point. But I'm in a situation where this is the other thing too, that I have nightmares about having a different landlord. Like my landlord is so fucking awesome. Like I just was shooting a shit with him in the garage yesterday for like an hour, just talking about comedy and current events and politics and stuff. And like when fucking COVID hit and shit was tight and we were waiting on like, pandemic stimuluses and shit. They were they were good with us. They weren't like, get your money in or get the fuck out. Like, so there's really, that to me is like, even the cost of thing is high. We still pay about $1,000 less for this apartment than if we moved out tomorrow. They would charge $2,800 or $2,900 a month for this place, and we pay $1,900 a month.
Wow.
So it's like, but it was 10 years ago when I moved in, it was $1,200. And my income has stayed roughly the same for the entire time. So my rent has gone up by 50%. And it's like, dude, my water heater exploded at 1 a.m. He was up here fixing it.
I kill myself.
Fucking 1 a.m. walked upstairs and was like fixing it, and then had a new water heater in at 9 a.m. the next day. like in many ways, it's like I'll pay the extra premium to have a fucking landlord that cares about his tenants and is a good dude, and you know, they raise the rents as like little as they possibly can every year just to make sure that you know, they're not like shoving people out of their places. And so,
but like you guys could like get a, like, again, if you came out to like me, you could get a house like for like easily, like easily, like not even a question, dude. Like you can easily get a house and not have to worry about a landlord.
Yeah, the way I look at this, then you're your own landlord and you got to fix everything yourself. And
no, that does suck, and I'm not handy. So like anytime something breaks, and my wife gets so mad at me because she's like, "How are you not?" I'm like, "I never cared. Sorry, I never wanted to learn how to fix anything. Now I regret it. Now as a 35-year-old, I'm like, I should have learned, but I just have to call better man friends of mine and be like, "Can you fix this for me?"
Better man friends. She's like, "Hey, when you're done under that sink fixing that leaky faucet, maybe you could do some work on Marcy's." He doesn't know what he's doing there either.
Yeah, right. And then fuck me because he sucks at that too.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah, that's what happens. You start bringing in better men to work on your house, and then they come over when you're not there to work on your fucking
Dude, that's
house.
why I do it.
I
I do it when she's at work. I'm like, come over during the day. Come over during the day.
Why? And by the way, if men and women are so equal, where are all the sexy, handy ladies?
yeah, right.
You know, I remember growing up watching Home Improvement. Where was the hot chick? Wasn't Pamela Anderson their assistant on the
Like the
show
first
for like a
season.
season?
Yeah. The first
Yeah.
season.
Where's
Yeah,
that bitch coming over to do my fucking maintenance?
Yeah, right. And that's what I think. I'm like, all right, my wife's name is Steph. Like, all right, Steph. Well, equality. Fix the fucking door. Like, yeah, you do it. It's heavy. I don't know. I'm not strong.
Listen, man. They're all borderline retarded. It's a miracle that they function in.
I agree wholeheartedly. No, I agree. It's true. Like, it's like she'll bust my ball again. Like, she'll bust my balls for being like, she's like, you can't fix things. I'm like, I've seen you struggle working an iPhone. So like,
oh yeah.
I don't know. How dumb are you?
Yeah, mine is like, how do I print a PDF? And I'm like 34 years old. And you went to college and I didn't.
Dude,
like you didn't take computer class in college?
So my wife and I, we're the same age, 2 weeks apart. We're both born in 86. Okay. We're both 35 years old. And it's like it's like she grew up in the village in like the Shyamalan movie. Where like
yeah.
She didn't get technology and I did. And then like when we met, I was like, this is an iPhone. She's like, oh. I'm like, this is a TV. She's like, what's that? Like, what's a computer? It's like, I'm like, do you not?
What'd you get you an Amish girl? Yeah.
No, I mean, kind of Pennsylvania, I guess, but so it comes with territory. Yeah. But it's like,
yeah, like if she was actually Amish, Nutter, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. But you're like, no, she's just a woman.
Just a dumb woman, just a dumb blonde. And then it's just, and then also like I'll reference like 90s things because we were children of the 90s.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't get that. I'm like, are you an alien?
Yeah,
what's
maybe
going
she
on
was
here?
raised maybe she's a fucking human. She's closeted Amish.
Dude, it's so annoying. Hate it.
Yeah,
it's so annoying.
It's so funny, man. It's funny you brought up The Village because I was talking to my mom the other day and I was like, Mom, did you ever see that movie? She goes, no. I go, it was actually way ahead of its time. Like, if you remember, that was the movie that started to sink M. Night Shyamalan's career. And I was like, I actually think that it's like 10 years ahead of its time in concept because the reason I brought it up is like, I think people are going to start doing that. I think people are going to start building their own communes. And this is kind of like what Owen Benjamin is doing out in like Idaho or Montana, wherever he is. It's like they're building a community and you almost wonder, it's only a matter of time before they put fences and walls up and just go like, we're entirely self-sufficient. We grow our own food. We're off the fucking power grid. We're not, we're not going to interact with the outside world at all because the outside world is trying to take my kids at school and tell them that they're trans. Right. And it's like, so I was like, I want to go back and watch The Village again because I was like, I really feel like we could start seeing groups of society move in that direction again.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, The Village was just a terrible movie, but like, I mean, as far as like Waco communes go, I mean, with mine is the pedophilia.
Well, that's the thing is, like,
you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, those fuck cults exist already. I'm talking about where it's not a sex cult, and I know, I know that's asking for a lot. Josh.
They all turn into sex cults.
They do all turn into sex cults. Is the problem?
It's a natural progression. Is like I want to fuck the government, and then like, I want to do my own thing. We fuck everybody. I don't know where it comes, like where between step 2 and 3 that happens. It's
where the concept of being like, this is where you diverge from a little bit of libertarianism, but this idea of like having this separatist utopia, it's like you can't live without rules entirely before somebody starts to get bad ideas, right? Because like you see in these like cultish communes, it's like, that from a libertarian perspective to be allowed to do that. But you do have to look at the real data that a lot of times they're like 2 weeks in and the guy's like, I think I can fuck the 13-year-olds. And you're like, God damn it. Like, this is not what we had in mind. Yeah.
There's always one dude who's like, so guys, you're not going to believe this. God told me to fuck all the kids and your wives.
All the kids and your wives.
It's crazy. Yes. I know. Listen, I'm just doing what he told me. It's like,
that's just what he said.
That's what he said.
It's just like, This is what ruins it. This is what ruins it for libertarians, is because anytime some guy goes out and tries to start his own thing, he's fucking kids 2 weeks into it.
Well, and that's like, again, like that's why every time like you get the libertarian defense of like correction and Waco thing, it's like yeah, you guys are right. Like the ATF and FBI murder children, but he was having sex with 13-year-olds, so let's not forget that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Let's not forget that either.
You can't look at things like Waco and be like, you got to go like, well, it's an imperfect example. You know what I mean? Like in principle, they should be allowed to just be down there and be by themselves and be as armed as they want to.
No
and
winners,
not be
as I would
with.
say.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just like, it's always, and then of course that's what gets thrown into libertarians' face anytime we talk about limited government control. And they're like, you guys are just trying to lower the age of consent. I go, no, I think we should.
One dude said that. Arvin Brown, whatever the fuck his name is, at the convention, he's like, I think we should know consent laws. And everyone was like, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
like, it's like, that's the thing. It's like everyone was like, "You gotta go," and they kicked him out of the party. And like, but everyone harps on that one asshole, that one pedo who's like just happened to fucking work his way into a party one year, and like everybody harps on that guy. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that's what ruins everything. Is like there's that one pedophile who made his way into the Libertarian Party, and then that becomes the Libertarian platform. There's like one drunk Proud Boy at event one time that was like, I think white people are the best race ever, and they were like, God, now it's a white supremacy group, and it's like there's always that one guy who fucking ruins it for everybody.
Dude, every libertarian I know, especially like, I mean, Top Lobster does like a lot of artwork for like Josh Smith and stuff like that. Like he has a shirt.
Yeah, I like it.
He has like a fucking a wood chipper pedophile shirt that he sells that I own. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I gotta see that. I gotta.
It's great. I'll get it. It's right in my closet.
Yeah, hold on. Let me. No, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, it's great. Like I'm not saying we're all like, yeah, you should kill pedophiles on spot. Like no one thinks like that except that one asshole. I hate that moniker. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it really is so reductive. Like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and he's like a super liberal guy, and he was like, well, not all conservatives are white supremacists, but all white supremacists are conservatives. And I was just like, what are you even talking about?
No.
And I was just like, I go, it depends on your definition of white supremacy or racism, because when liberal leftists act like black people will only survive if they save them from themselves and the rest of society, that to the ultimate white supremacy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I just don't understand. I was just like, how do you not see that as the most racist thing?
This is something you could 100% see where I'm coming from, because you're a comic too. So like, okay, we're comics. I'm sure this has been told to you. Stop punching down. Has that not been said to you?
Oh yeah. Well, you saw it a ton. You saw it a ton with the Chris Rock thing this weekend.
Right. So it was don't punch down. Okay, and this is my defense for that. This is my comeback, and I always trust them the fuck up, or they'll just argue nonsense like every dumb other liberal. I'll go, okay, what does
hold on here real quick? Shout out to Top Lobster with the Chippa shirt.
That's it. Yep.
And
I have one on white.
You can't really see it unless you zoom in, but it says pedo eater tooth.
Yeah, it's great. Top Lobster's a man. I love him.
Fucking great. Shout out to Top Lobster.
Yeah, he's the fucking best. So I'll be like, oh, I'm punching down. I go, okay, well, what does punching down mean to you? I'll put it in their court, right? And then, because this is always a white liberal, by the way. And then that white liberal will say, oh, you're making fun of something less than. I went, hold on. So you just said in your own words.
Do tell. Yeah, so what would that include? You tell me what that includes.
This black person, Hispanic, disabled, whatever I'm making fun of is less than me because I'm just white, is what you're telling me right now. And they're like, that's not what I'm saying. I go, no, it is. That's exactly what you're saying. You think that they don't have a voice and they're too dumb to defend themselves or find nuance and humor, that you, the white savior, has to come and defend the dumb whatever I'm making fun of.
Right.
Which is the most racist shit I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, I'll share this one real quick. Let me get this link up. I said this the other day, and this one to me is like exactly what we're talking about. So the Chris Rock Will Smith thing happened, and of course, like the internet had no shortage of fucking hot takes over that thing for the entire week. I think they're still coming out. People are still coming out with their takes on Chris Rock and Will Smith. But here's one I responded to Steve Schmidt, who is a political guy, campaign manager over many things. He says, Chris Rock is a genius who punched down and shouldn't have, because genius doesn't have to. It should lift up, not put down. It should point out, not stigmatize. Will Smith made the biggest mistake of his life at an hour of his greatest achievement. We are all works in progress, right? And then I just said, if you think making fun of a black millionaire actress is still punching down, you're absolutely a white supremacist. Like, if you can look at a woman who spent her entire life in front of a camera, is worth $500 million, and has 2 children that just got to decide to be celebrities. By the way, really funny visual down here of a person getting their head plungered.
I was gonna say as they're getting fucked. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but it's like, if you can think that somebody could live that life and that making fun of that person is still punching down, there's no other answer for that than you inherently believe that white people are the superiors.
Yeah, it's always I'm a savior for you guys because you can't defend yourself, like, or like take a joke. It's wild. I was listening to this the other day. I was like, especially when it comes to like athletes and stuff like that who are making millions and millions of dollars. And I'm not saying like you can't use your platform to like speak about a social issue or whatever the fuck that is, whatever. You're a person, do what you want. Right. But I hate when they make it sound like they're still in the struggle. And I'm like, hey man, believe it or not, I'm struggling more than you are. Like, I know I'm a white dude, but guess what? You're a multimillionaire, man. So like your money's at least I can say your money worries are solved forever. Like unless you fuck it up, but that's on you then.
Well, in the one take, and if I end up writing a piece, because one of the editor for the website I write for, the Vegas Take, they'll have me write pieces sometimes. They'll commission me to do pieces. And when it first happened, he was like, you got to write a piece on this. And I was like, let me let the dust settle, and I want to see what everybody else says about it. And nobody has actually said this yet. To me, that slap ended the discussion of white privilege. And what I mean by that is I think at that moment, it was evident to anybody paying attention that privilege has nothing to do with race and everything to do with wealth and social status. And that if you are wealthy enough, it doesn't matter what color you are, you can do whatever the fuck you want without repercussions. And so what I think a lot of people are waking up to, or having, or are reluctant to wake up to in moments like that, is that now that black people have money, you start to see them get away with the same shit that rich white people have gotten away with forever. And you're going to realize that it never had anything to do with color. It's always had everything to do with money. And that's really at the heart of this thing, of like where I think it sends shockwaves through America culturally, is you have to realize that privilege has very little to do with race and everything to do with your socioeconomics and your status.
Yeah, I was saying this the other day too. I was like, it's also funny, just the obvious Hollywood bubble in fucking hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like where they're like defending the violence. They're defending the fucking physical slap. Like they're defending.
Oh, sure.
But like if you were to slap me and they saw that video, they'd be like, there's literally no reason to ever commit violence. But you know, if it's their boy, then it's totally fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Violence. It's like no worries. It's like just go nuts.
Well, it's just a conditional application of the law, which is, and this is the same argument I always push back on with like pro-choice. I'll use quotes, pro-choice women, is when you just go, okay, well, when do you think is the time where you can say it's no longer okay to end the child's life? And like, what do you? So if you think 6 weeks is too fast, what's the time? You set the time. You tell me what you think is the appropriate time. And what you find out is that it's not based on anything other than their principal ideas. It's whenever the fuck I says, which is actually what you find out is a lot of like black people's perspective on this kind of shit, where they're just like, no, we should just be able to do whatever the fuck we want because of everything that happened years ago. And it's like, if you just said that, I would at least respect your honesty. But what's so funny is that people try to tap dance like that's not one. And it's evident when shit like this happens that that's precisely what you're attempting to do, is that you're trying to be like, yeah, like he should be able to just walk up and slap Chris Rock if he wants to. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, where does that end, by the way? Where do we go from there?
Right, because then I always look at that and I go, okay, well then I guess you're giving me the green light to slap people or beat the shit out of people that
right.
are words that I don't like to hear. And like, again, like, I don't know, man, I fucking fuck with MMA for 10 years. Like, you really want to push this? You want to do that button pushing? You know, I'll do it. Like, you know, I'll push. Like, sure. How about for everybody who's like fucking who shits on like who's like pro mandate or pro vaccine mandate or like pro like okay, so I can start hitting them because I think that's fucked up. And tomorrow,
yeah, I could just start walking down the street and punching whoever. Well, this started with the whole punching Nazi shit, and it's just like, who are Nazis? Because I think the guy in front of me taking too long at Chipotle is a fucking Nazi. Am I allowed to hit him? And I just go like, yeah, his whiteness is occupying a space that I would like to be in, and I identify as a young Afro-Latina woman. And so get this fucking Nazi out of my Chipotle.
yeah, Nazi just became anybody who I just don't agree with.
Just don't agree with. I just don't care for. What is Sofritas? You fucking Nazi.
yeah. Like the other like sickening like turn that I'm noticing lately, and like this is more towards like I guess like COVID stuff, but it's like all these blue check mark doctors who are all on the fucking news networks to fearmongered for 2 years. Now they're tweeting like, we should you have to live with COVID.
Yeah.
Like you have to go outside. Like you can't, it's like, what?
but I took all the prescription shots.
Right.
And I closed my business for 6 months. You told me. Yeah.
Right. It's like, wow, these people should be fucking hung. It's crazy.
Yeah. America is, what was the movie? Was it The Sitter? Where Jonah Hill was just like eating the girl's pussy and she's just like out fucking everybody else.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's an underrated movie.
yeah. That is literally like 90% of Americans who are just like, I'm doing the thing. What
I started
and it's like, that's not your girlfriend if she doesn't fuck you back. Dude.
Right. I started busting masked people's balls slightly. Not like badly, but like the other day some guy was wearing a mask, like he walking like outside of the shopping center, like outside, like in the parking lot with his mask still on, and I went, "Cool mask." He went, "Thank you." I was like, "Just kidding," and I just kept like shit like that.
It's so adorable, and yet it gets the point home, right? You're like, "I'm just kidding." You're fucking.
Because like I don't have to say, I don't have to be meaner than that. It's not even that mean. It's just like I'm like, I got you, you fucking idiot. Like it's like I'm not like calling him like a fucking loser or like an asshole. I'm not like even pushing it further than that. Like I just kept going. Like but like shit like that I do now. It's for fun.
yeah it's so funny too. It's like all the things that are, it's interesting we're talking about this because so like I went through this experience this weekend, and like you deal with this stuff all the time when people are like, oh, the good thing about the pandemic is that we started highlighting black owned businesses, and it's just like, yeah, but the idea of like patronizing a business based on the ethnicity of the owners is like insane. You know what I mean? Like that's that is the opposite of American capitalism. The idea is that the best get the most attention and the most money and the greatest success and the best press. Like that's what we all want to believe. And one of the things that was so funny to me is during like it was maybe right before the pandemic, my old buddy Van Lathan, who I have a very famous sit-down podcast interview with, where I say the N-word in front of him a couple times, and that got blown out of proportion on TMZ, which is their brand. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But anyway, like he posted a video like shortly after that, and before the pandemic, and it was before he was fired from TMZ. But it was like he was talking about the problem with people getting frustrated with black-owned businesses, and he's like, you guys just have to be patient. Sometimes we don't have our permits. Sometimes we don't have things together. Like sometimes like we're not opening on time. We're not opening late. But like just be patient. And it's like, no. How about you achieve the fucking standards of running a good business that everyone else has to? Like this idea that you're supposed to tolerate shitty service in the name of racial injustice. And again, what a white supremacist mindset. Black people can't run businesses as good as white people, so just deal with that. And it's just like, what the fuck is that?
Know what that is? I also look at that as a slap in the face to have many successful black businesses are run on time. And
yes.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's just like, yo,
like,
don't
do it.
Compare, yeah, right, don't compare them to me.
It's so fucking degrading. And it's like, that's why I feel like I'm in Twilight all the time, where I'm like, you guys don't see this? Like, this is racist, right? Like, this is fucking man. And they're like, no, you are. I'm like, okay, I guess I am. It's not even worth arguing anymore. Like, I get to that point where I'm like, whatever, dude, fine. I'm an asshole.
So I go to this cheesesteak place in LA. Like I found them on Instagram, and everybody swears like, "Oh, it's the best cheesesteak in LA. It's the best cheesesteak in LA."
Is it comparative to anything in Philly?
It's a truck. Yeah, I can compare it to. It's pretty close to D'Alessandro's.
Okay.
But you know what it is? It's basically Tony Luke's. It's
Okay,
because
yeah.
it's real thin and real
Right.
like, cheap.
Gotcha.
But it's good. It's pretty good. They do the chop like D'Alessandro's where like every bite has steak and cheese mixed together, but it's real long and thin like Tony Luke's,
Okay.
like a mall cheese steak. You know what I mean? Not the original Tony Luke's down in Philly, but like when you go to the one at the Springfield Mall, it's like that kind of Tony Luke's. So anyway, I find this place. I was hanging out with my girl down in West Hollywood last weekend, Saturday, and she was visiting her work down there. This place she's working is like a pop-up. And we have a break to go get lunch. And I go, yo, I think that cheesesteak truck is down here today. I think they're over on Melrose. So I look and they're like a mile from where we are. And I'm like, cool, let's go over here on Melrose and check this cheesesteak place out. Supposed to open at noon. We pull up at like 12:10. And the dude is just still sitting in the truck with all the stuff like closed up. And I was like, hey, are you guys opening? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be something like 15, 20 minutes. And I go, okay. Like, so 12:46-ish, or, you know what I mean? Like, so that's when you start, right? So I go, no problem. I get it. Like, it's a truck business. It's kind of new. Maybe they had to move unexpectedly. Who knows? I'm flexible. Right. So I go park the car down by Melrose is a nightmare. It's like, especially on a Saturday when everybody's out shopping, you got to fucking find a residential neighborhood to park in that isn't permit. So we park the car. We walk back over. It's open. And it's this black dude and his wife who run the business. So right off the bat, I go, all right, don't presume that you know exactly how this is going to go. But I did, and it did. Right? So there was like one dude ordering a cheesesteak before we walked up, and he goes over and sits down at the little seats, waits for his. I order the plain cheesesteak. Give me the plain steak, cheese, fried onions. Give me a fries and a Diet Coke. $19. It wasn't absurdly priced. It was like $11 for the sandwich, $3.50 for the fries, but like $3 for a can of Diet Coke. It's like, okay. So anyway, the wife yells from inside the truck. She goes, it'll be about 15, 20 minutes before I even order. Like, make sure he knows it's going to be about 15, 20 minutes. And I go, yeah, okay. I assumed I would have to wait 15, 20 minutes because you weren't even open on time.
Right.
So, so I'll let you do a little guess, Adam. Let's put a little racist Q&A, right? How long did I wait for my cheesesteak?
45 minutes.
Yeah, dude, 45 fucking minutes to wait for my cheesesteak. 45 minutes. And they had 2 orders that day. And whose order do you think I got?
The other guys.
The other guy's order, and he got my order.
So funny.
So it's like I got their Mexican cheesesteak, right? Which sounds absurd. It's sacrilege. But I'll say this, it was really good. And it's probably is the best cheesesteak in Los Angeles, and I'll never go back.
Right.
I'll just never go back.
Right. It's
because
not worth right.
You tell me 15 minutes, and I go, that's insane, but okay. But it better be 15, not 45.
5 minutes. Dude, it's
45 minutes.
Going back to like what we said before, like the simplest of like what capitalism is, and I'll give an example of like there's my buddy Mel Harris. Shout out Mel Harris, runs a show in Philly, and it's at this like brewery, which the Attic Brewery, I think, and it's they don't serve food there, but it's like this. It was like an old garage.
Oh, by the way, if those people see this episode, they'll go, "Oh, he ain't coming back because he's racist." No, it's because you suck. It's because even as good as you are at making cheesesteaks, you're shit at running a business. Right. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. So this brewery is like one of the old garages that they is modified into a brewery. You know, it's a cool joint. But they have a taco truck, like this burrito taco truck outside.
Yeah,
and the line is so long for the truck.
Deb says D'Alessandro's is the best. Used to live not too far from there. I agree.
All right, but stop chewing the toy in the microphone. The line for the truck is so long, it goes into like the comedy show.
Oh wow!
Because that's how fucking good the food. So like again, the line isn't that long because that's the only food there. Like I've had the food. It's crazy good. Like it's so fucking good.
Right.
I'm like, and I imagine those 2 trucks next to each other. Like, well, that line's still gonna be that long because that food's better and the service is better because they were pumping out food with that long of a line. They were just like boom, 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 boom.
Listen, like I've worked in places like that when we were doing ginormous food. Like I would work in those kitchens, and when I was a kid, my brother was managing his pizza place. I would go in there and work on Sundays with him. I was like 9, and I would be like tossing pies and fucking dropping fries in the fryer and like topping pizzas and Totally illegal, by the way, to
Yeah.
have a 9-year-old just straight working for free on a fucking Saturday. But I was like, yo, let me up in your fucking truck and then I will buy it from you by the end of the day. Like, let me sit in your truck and pump these fucking orders out, and then I get to keep the money, and then I'll just buy your food truck from you at the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like this fucking thing of like, we need more opportunity. It's like, don't squander it, man. There's like a black kid on the other end of the block who's selling custom art made shirts on a fucking folding table, who has more hustle than you guys have in your fucking food truck.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so frustrating for me to see people, and it's even more frustrating. Like, let's say they saved up their own money and bought that truck. What are you doing? You're going to go out of business, and then you're going to be one of these jerk-offs who's like, oh, the economy, right? It's so tough for businesses. It's like, no, you suck.
Dude, food trucks are like the thing right now. Like, they've been the thing for like the last few years. Like, it's
probably
like,
last 10 years.
People love food truck. Like, I know it's more of a West Coast thing than an East Coast thing, but it is picking up on the East Coast for sure. And like, there's more. I see more and more like there's like events and shit that people have like with their business, and they'll bring a food truck out at night. To like, and like people love that shit. Do better. Attic Brewery. Yeah, Deb said it in the comments. Yeah, Attic Brewery. Yeah. That's it. That's where the show is. But this is very Philly local. Sorry. But that's the place. It's like the food truck. They're expensive as fuck. So like you said, if you got it, that's already an accomplishment in itself. So you think you would have the like wherewithal or like goals to like work hard to make that money back and like produce, but unless you got a hand down food truck, I don't know, dude. It's weird. Like, I don't understand. It's
a big truck too. It's a long boy. So like a lot of people don't know, like you have a short boy and a long boy. Short boy is basically like a short boy is maybe a flat top, an oven, like one flat top, one Blodgett, and like one deep fryer. They have a long boy. So I think they have a long flat top in there and a double fryer and maybe 2 Blodgetts. Right. So it's like you're set up to do volume.
Right.
But like, this is the thing. Whether people like my political views or not, I still have a lot of people that follow me for food shit from when I did the Food Network show. Yeah. Like, I could have helped your fucking business and could have been like, yo, check this place out. It's the best cheesesteak that there is. And I'll tell you, it's great. Prepare to wait for a fucking hour.
Right.
And prepare for them not to give a fuck about service. And if you're fine with that, that's fine. But it's like, it's not even like in a soup Nazi way where it's like fun. It's like just shitty.
Right. It's not good. So it's also funny you're wearing a cheesesteak hat.
Yes, of course I am.
Which is also pretty ironic.
Yeah, it's not ironic. It's called branding. This is what I am. It's actually a Philadelphia Iron Pigs hat, but it's from Cheesesteak Day.
Oh. Yeah,
it's not Philadelphia. I should say Lehigh Valley.
Lehigh Valley,
Iron
yes,
Pigs.
Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, don't let me sound like a fucking casual. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs.
Yep.
Are you a big baseball guy, Nutter?
So okay, I'm a big Yankee fan.
Okay,
but I'm a Yankee fan, not more of a baseball fan. That makes sense. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in other words, like, okay, I'm football's that's my shit.
Yeah.
Like, I played from 11 years old to 25 years old. I played for a long time. Like full contact. I played semi-pro football from 18 to 25 years old. I was like in it. I love football. I'll watch any game. The Jets are awful. I'll watch the Jets play the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm almost to that level now with football where like my favorite players have moved around so much. It's like I don't even really feel like I have a favorite team anymore. I'm just like a football fan.
I mean, I'm a Giants fan. Unfortunately, they suck. But I love football. I love football. Baseball though, like I'll watch the Yankees. But if you're like you want to watch the Cubs Cardinals, I'm like no, I don't.
Yeah, I'm that way. I'm that way too. Like I'll watch certain teams, and I'll watch. I'll watch the Phillies. I'm excited about the Phillies this year because they literally just went out and broke the bank and got Castellanos and Schwarber. So it's like,
yeah.
If you guys don't fucking go to the NLCS this year, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, living outside of Philly and being a New York sports fan is very annoying. It's because I can't wear my shit really. I'll get yelled at. So like I can't wear like Giants
if you go to watch the fucking Yankees play the Phillies, you're just gonna have to be prepared to get punched.
You just gotta wear a hoodie or a shirt.
Yeah.
You can't. That's the trick. You just can't fucking do it. Oh, you're a sports guy, and this is always
I'm smart when I go to Dodger Stadium and I root for the visiting team. I take two big fucking dudes with me. I either go with my boy Josh Mulder, who's like 6'7", 6'8", 400 pounds. I always take like guys that are even bigger than me to sporting events because then people are like, sit down. But you know what it is? Then dudes' wives mouth off to you and they go, sit down, honey, you're going to get us murdered.
Yeah, shut up. This is a sports question this is a sports philosophy I pose to a lot of people, and I've turned a lot of people on this, so I want to hear your thoughts on it. So I think a sport should be only defined as something where the defense could affect the score of the game.
So then, by that definition, baseball is not a sport.
No, of course it is. You have a pitcher throwing a ball.
Oh yeah, okay. Then what? Yeah. Then what would not be considered a sport?
Swimming.
Okay. Cheerleading.
Because it's anything with the judge is not a sport. Anything judge based because it's purely off of.
So no tennis.
No, tennis I'm sorry. Well, it's like a referee almost.
Okay.
But there's I mean, like, where you judge from the heart, like diving. Okay. We're like 8.7. Like that's a fucking you
figure skating.
Like you just chose that score because here's the thing. And golf too. Sorry, everybody, but like golf because you don't just like swimming. And here's my reasoning: no matter how good you are, Tiger Woods is probably better than you. And but he's not stopping you from being better than him. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's like your own self is like
you're literally just going against your own sort of time. Yeah. So
There's zero influence.
So you're saying anything that's timed, judged, or scored by not activity.
Hard set rules or something like that.
Right.
It's like So like as much as I hate to say NASCAR is a sport, it is because you could like cut off people. You could like strategically
you can rub somebody out.
100%. Yeah. Horse racing, obviously.
You can get out of your car and get into the other car, suck the guy's dick to where he can't drive anymore.
Give him roadhead, distract him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that shit.
Everybody saw Days of Thunder, right?
That's how that worked.
Yeah.
But like, so like chess is a sport.
Yeah, his name in that movie was Cole Trickle, by the way.
Yeah, it's the most porn name ever.
Yeah, the only name, the real NASCAR name, by the way, was a guy named Dick Trickle. I'm not even kidding.
That's an awful.
That's
name.
The name of a real.
Was his name
NASCAR
Richard,
driver.
and they just called him Dick? I hope so.
Dick Trickle is a real person. There's a real American NASCAR driver. And by the way, I'm going to show you his picture. This fucking
he has
guy,
a mustache, right?
No, he doesn't have a mustache.
Oh wow.
But he literally looks like exactly what you think he looks like. You can see how often I share my screen when I just don't have it ready to go. This is Dick Trickle.
Oh yeah.
Just like, doesn't he look like your average just Lowe's department manager?
I was just gonna say, look, he looks like he works at Home Depot.
Yeah, he's like, I'll tell you what grill to buy.
Yeah. He's like, oh, this Weber 4. He's like, this has 4 burners. Do you understand?
Look, in this picture, he just realized his name is Dick Trickle. Remember back when you could actually have like booze and cigarette sponsors in NASCAR? That was fun.
Dude, yeah, and like I
want an OnlyFans car with like dildos stuck to it, like.
Dude, for sure, those guys drank back in the cars during the day.
For sure, dude.
For sure.
Yeah, Dick Trickle. Who was his sponsor? Duralube. I dropped the Duralube 64. His name is
for
Dick Trickle. Yeah, dude.
I was born in 64. I fuck like I'm 64.
Yeah, dude. I guarantee you that guy would not even be allowed to fucking drive in NASCAR today.
No way.
Yeah, they'd be like, "You gonna change your name?
Dude, that guy probably hit his wife on camera. Like, are you kidding me? Like that guy was like, "Shut up!" Like, it's like, get out of here.
I'll say that. Yeah. So you're married, right? How long have you been married?
6 going on 6.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble with that question.
6 years this month.
Yeah, and were you guys together a long time before you got married?
Year and a half.
Okay, so but you're going on almost a decade together.
Yeah.
My girl and I have been together for over 10, or it'll be 10 years in July, 4th of July. We've been seeing each other, or we've known each other for longer than 10 years, but we've been dating and together since July 4th of 2012. Yeah, so July 4th this year is our 10th anniversary. In case anybody wants to send us something nice, like a Dick Trickle memorial, die-cast NASCAR car. I'm sure she would love that. But anyway, I wanted to ask you this about like long-term relationships. So we were like arguing the other day. I was trying to explain to her how to do something. She just wasn't getting it. And I just looked at her and I go, this is why some of you get hit.
Yes.
You're like, and I just like,
Yeah.
we don't, because at one point I go, short of me inventing a new language, there's not a 38th way for me to describe to you what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And I go, and then at some point, a lesser man was just like,
yeah. Right.
listen, when I hit the dog, it stopped shitting on the carpet. When I hit the kids, they stop fucking around. Maybe I should try hitting the wife. And it's like, listen, you don't do it, but it's like, I understand getting to that point of the IKEA schematics where you throw something across a room.
It's not so much like the not getting that's just infuriating. I mean, it makes me want to like punch walls. What makes me want to like lose my shit physically is like when a woman or my wife or any woman will just like start talking shit and you're like, I could kill you.
Yeah.
What are you, like, you know that, right? Like, I could like forget the MMA part of me. Forget that I know MMA and all that shit. I used to fight. As a man, I could just choke you to death. You can't stop. Like you know, it's like it's crazy just spouting this off. Like
I could
your mouth.
I could just sit on you until you starve to death.
Yeah, like it's crazy that you just do this so freely because you know
mine doesn't do that. She'll just have like just be very frustrating with like it's like she'll be like, how do I heat this up? She'll bring home like food from work or something. She'll go, how do I heat this up? And I just go, yeah, just pop it in the microwave. It'll be like leftover chicken wings or something. She's like, how do I heat this up? I go, you pop it in the microwave. And she all of a sudden hears smoking and sizzling and cracking and popping. And I go, what are you doing? And she's like, I put it in the microwave. And I go, in the foil container?
Knew it.
Are you fucking retarded? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It's just like, I go, you remember the last time you did this? And I told you not to ever do that. And then you're doing it again. What do you have, like Alzheimer's when it comes to everyday activities? Like,
yeah, no, my wife's blonde and she just went to the hair. She got her hair done, so she's even more blonde. And I'm like,
our house is like Memento. There's like Post-its next to the dishes on how to do dishes. Those aren't for me. Like that. What's so funny is if we had company over, they'd see that and they go, "Oh, honey, you do this for him because he doesn't know." I go, "No, those are for her because she's fucking retarded."
Dude, so that's the annoying part. The assumption that the woman okay, because obviously I do comedy, right, and podcasts. That's what I do.
We're joking around here. Disclaimer.
Right.
This is two comedians sharing their process.
Yeah. So like I'm home all day, you know, and like I have the dog, I hang out with the dog, I take care of the dog, but then I also just do most of it. She's
laundry, the cooking, the grocery shopping. I do all the same shit.
She's a teacher.
Yeah.
So she's out all day. So like I'm like, well,
she's out all day slanging pussy. No.
So fucking those kids. So like she hasn't done laundry in 6 years.
Wow.
Like that's not a joke.
Wow.
She hasn't done laundry in 6 because also
I'm punching somebody at year 3.
No, because here's the thing.
I'm hitting something that you by year 3.
Here's the thing. I used to feel that way, and then I guess like what if she did do it? She just fucks it up.
Yeah. But here's my question for you: does she do it? Do you think? And this is whether we agree or not.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
I can't help but think she does it on purpose so that you will just do it.
I thought that too, but she's just dumb.
I know.
Isn't that dumb? It's dumb.
This is why men hit women. This is the premise for the bit. Ready? We can't fathom that you're so fucking stupid that you just can't. We think you're evil cunts that are choosing not to do it.
Dude, I've said to her,
because we don't think you're completely retarded we have to want to hit you.
I've said this exact phrase to her before. I said, Steph, either you're manipulating your thoughts right now to me or you're legitimately retarded. Either way, they're not a good look for you.
This is not acceptable.
So you could pick which one it is, but it's one of those two, and it can only be one of those two.
Yeah.
Because it can't be anything else.
So I got this new bit I'm working on, and anybody who's watching this has heard me talk about this on a couple of podcasts now, but I have this new bit I'm working on about the Down syndrome model, Sophia Giroux, or whatever her name is.
She's kind of hot.
She's kind of hot, and she was hot enough to where when I saw her, I was like, "Am I legally allowed to fuck a retarded girl?" And I Googled it because what are they going to do? Cancel me for that? I'm already a white supremacist. So, in the eyes of the media. Not to cut
you off, but just to go down, because you and I probably had the same exact thought process. I read the headline, right? Like first Down syndrome model, and then I giggled to myself. I went, "No way! This is 100% like a fucking." we have to do this because we think we have to be inclusive, and this is the new angle where everybody's going down. So I Googled their thing, and it was going to be a monster. I was like, oh man, she's kind of hot.
She's kind of fuckable. Like,
I've definitely good body. Yeah,
I've definitely fucked uglier girls than this girl.
Yes.
I've absolutely fucked an uglier girl than this girl. No question. Like, and definitely ones that didn't have as good of bodies. Like, and I'm sure this is zoomed out, but like, hold on. Let me pull it up because I feel like we are doing the audience a disservice. And we'll jump into the after show right after this because it's a good segue. But, like, legit, I have fucked girls with way worse bodies than that. And, like, this is her face, and I've fucked girls with uglier faces than that, for sure. Right? And I probably fucked girls with worse speech impediments than she has. That's a great picture.
That's
right?
a good picture.
So anyway, now I'm curious about the legalities. I go, is this, if I wanted to fuck her, am I even allowed to?
She's an adult.
She's an adult. And here's how it works.
Stuff.
This is what's terrifying. There is no clear-cut law. There's no clear-cut law on whether or not you can fuck a retarded girl. Here's how it works. If you're charged with like sexual assault or rape because they believe the person can't consent, it literally comes down to whether or not the judge and jury believes she's not retarded enough to consent.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
scary.
And so what's terrifying about that is not that I'm out just banging retarded girls willy-nilly. It's that I've been with my girlfriend for 10 years and I can't trust my freedom being attached to her going on the stand and proving that she's not retarded. And I think what we're all going to find out, we're all fucked. Because if we ever had to put our wives on the stand and be like, well, tell us about your day. She'd be like, first I wake up and I poop and my legs fall asleep and I need help getting picked up off the toilet. And they'd be like, this girl's full retarded. Go to prison.
Right.
Go to fucking prison right now.
I know it's like, Your Honor, to defend myself, if you put any woman there, you wouldn't know the difference. Okay. So it's like, you're really putting me in a hole.
Like we're all, and so what's great about this bit, I've only gotten to run it a couple times, but like, it's a great crowd participation bit because I love going in on couples and I'm like, dude, what's the most retarded thing she's ever done? And I swear to God, I bet I haven't even heard them all. Like you and I could probably start a podcast going, what's the most retarded thing she's ever, how retarded is she should be the name of our podcast. And we just have people call in and tell stories like, are you garbage? But people just come in and tell us about all the retarded shit that their wives do. And I guarantee you, we would never run out of material.
No, I know. People were like, guys do dumb stuff too. It's like, yeah, but like,
no.
We know that. But we also know guys do dumb physical stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Like, we're making like, I think I could attach these ladders together and get to that roof. Like, that's what we do. But we're like ingenuity dumb. We're like, I think I can do it. And then we die that way.
Yeah,
like,
we all
just dumb in common sense.
We're just dumb in the sense that we think that like science is an opinion and not really like based in testing. We're just like, I'll fucking physics, gravity. Yeah, right? I know how much I weigh. I could jump. Yeah, I could jump this. Yeah. A lot of broken legs.
Jump. You can't jump 20 feet. Are you
I can
serious?
Clear that.
Like,
I can't jump 2 feet. Yeah. I bet I would. I think I've rolled my ankle trying to avoid a puddle before.
I know. I haven't been an athlete in years, you know, obviously, but like, so I still have, I think I'm an athlete mentality, but I'm not.
Bro,
I know I'm not.
The funniest story is like, I was talking to a guy yesterday at this fucking place I went for lunch. And I was wearing hockey shit, and he was like, "Oh, you a hockey player?" I was like, "Yeah, I played. I played ice hockey in high school, and I'm a big hockey fan and everything." And he goes, "Oh, you still hit the ice out here in California?" And I go, "No." And I go, "I bought new rollerblades and tried to go skating a couple years ago." And it's like one of those things where like, even though I stopped playing in high school, like I'd go back to hang out with my friends in my early 20s, and I'd just strap up the skates and we'd go play for hours, right? No problem. I'm 38 now. And I didn't realize, like, it's probably been 10 years since I jumped on skates. I went out there, dude, and I could barely fucking move. I was like, I gotta fucking lose 70 pounds before I can even attempt this. My lower back muscles that are completely needed to skate do not exist anymore. And I was like, I am just not. And you just think to yourself, like, yeah, dude, I'm the same guy I was 15 years ago. And you're like, I am not.
We're not. Dude, I have such like
my body felt like I've been in a coma for fucking 15 years.
Dude, I have such man pressure when if that guy was like, "Do you still have the skates?" The ice would have been like, Yeah. and
I'll see
I
you
would have
out
been
there in
and then I would have now been in a lie of like now I have to lie myself through this. I'm like, well, I'm in it now. and now I'm going through this lie.
Well, I guess I'll just show up at the rink and fucking die.
Yeah. You like can't just not be a man sometimes and just admit the truth.
Yeah, it's not an option. Yeah, no, look at me. I'm in horrible shape. That's why I laugh when like, you know, I'll fucking women will be like, you should do yoga. You probably lose a lot of weight. And I go like, people as fat as I am are not in yoga. I had a girl tell me once, she's like, we have people that are twice your size. They go, you don't have 600-pound people in you. Shut the fuck up. People that are twice my size are not, they don't walk.
I have
they're crane people.
I have the unfortunate I have the unfortunate effect of like I'm 165 pounds, but like I'm not in shape, right? I'm just like skinny, like I'm just there.
Yeah, see, like, at least I have my own disgusting body to hide behind and go. Like, look at me, I can't do that.
So when I stand up and shit, and like people are like, oh, you're in shape. I'm like, oh, I run out of breath walking a flight of stairs. Like I'm not in shape at all. Like, I just look like I am. So, that's it. It's fucking bad here.
Yeah, so we'll get out of here. Dude, thanks for coming on, and it was fun stuff. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do a podcast called How Retarded Is She?
We should.
And we just get on and we have people call in and be like, this is what my wife did today. And
we should do that because I have stories from my wife
alone. It also would probably be the fucking biggest. This will be like the men's version of guys we fucked.
Yeah.
We're joking about it, but we should probably do it. And I think we just have to say, how retarded is she? That has to be the name of it.
No, it has to. Yeah.
Or we could just call it full retard. Welcome to Full Retard. We're your hosts, Josh Denny and Adam Nutter.
Yeah, we're the Full Retard podcast.
Full Retard podcast.
By the way, like I'm definitely retarded myself, but not as retarded as my wife.
Yeah, but I'm like retarded. I'm like retarded in a way where I'm like, this is how I'm retarded. This is how men are retarded. I'll watch like Scarlett Johansson on TV and I'll go like, I bet if I met her, she'd like me.
Right, yeah.
Like I bet we'd get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's how retarded men are.
She would think I'm she would be disgusted by my presence. Like
right, and it's just like, but I do have this thing of like, you know, like I think we would get along. That's the limit of how men are.
So I'm with you because this is how much
we see ourselves in like real life scenarios that would never happen. Right?
This is how much we think alike, Josh, because Scarlett Johansson's married to Colin Jost.
Who's
a Staten Islander in a comic, and I go, well, I'm a Staten Islander in a comic.
Right.
like
I think I could fuck a Scarlett Johansson.
I can fuck Scarlett Johansson. It's like, dude, no, I can't. Like, no, I cannot.
Yeah, that's the thing is like we'll put ourselves in hypothetical scenarios that we have no business being in. That's how retarded men are.
Yeah.
Women just can't do things.
Yeah.
So it's more of like more of like a medulla retardation, whereas for us it's just like we envision it's like Uncle Rico. Like I bet you I could throw a football over those mountains.
I've seen my wife holding two objects and needed to pick up a third object and be like, I don't know what to do. I go, put one of them down and then pick up the other one and then pick up the other one again. I can't. Are we doing this kind of like, am I going to go to jail for being married to you for like taking advantage of a retarded person? This is crazy.
Yeah. That's exactly, that is the fucking fear. That is the fear we all have to face is that.
But like common sense shit like that, where I'm like, I sometimes look at her and like, you know, like when we used to date, she used to tout like, I'm an independent woman. And then we've been married for 6 years. I go, you would, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but I think you would be dead without me.
Yeah.
Like you would be dead.
It's so true. Mine will come home after work and she'll be like, what are you going to make us for dinner? And I go, it's 11 o'clock at night. I ate 2 hours ago. Like, did you really think that I was going to be out all fucking day and come home and then you're coming home and I was just going to whip up a 5-course meal?
Can I tell you how not only metaphorically, but legitimately, I mean, my wife would be dead without me. One time, fucking idiot, dude. So dumb. I wish she was in the house so she could hear me tell the story again. But she's not. It's so bumming me out. Like I don't drink anymore, but like she drank one night. We went out. She drank heavy, and then she's 5 foot, 125 pounds. Yeah, not like she's a fucking. She could drink. Not like she could hold her liquor. She's a fucking. Had like 4 margaritas, which is way too much for her. Comes home. She goes, "I'm gonna take a bath." I go, "That's a bad idea. Don't do that. Just don't." She goes, "I'm gonna take a bath." I'm like, "Okay, clearly there's no stopping you. So go for it, right?"
Right.
She goes, I hear the water running, and it stops. I'm like, okay, that's good. The water stopped. and then I'm playing like a game. I'm playing a video game. I'm like, you know what? I gotta go check on her. And I go in.
By the way, does your wife hate you playing? Like my wife, or she's not really my wife, but she'll literally like just hate that I'm playing a video game.
She hates that I enjoy my time.
Yes, exactly. Like the idea that I'm doing something that I enjoy that she gets nothing out of.
The idea
like she's
that I'm
fine
if
I enjoy cooking because it feeds her. This is the only selfish things that I do that she gets nothing out of is play guitar and play Madden. And literally, if I'm doing either of those things, she instantaneously hates my guts.
You know what's wild is like I really don't even play during the day when she's not home. I really don't, because most of my friends aren't on, right? So like I play at nighttime when she goes, because she's a teacher. She usually spends like 9:30. So I'll play it like when she goes to bed at night, or if she's like doing schoolwork, I'll play like, you know, when she's doing work. But she'll be like, all you do is play games. I go, no, I don't. You just hate me having fun.
Yeah.
like that's the answer. Sorry. I'm sorry, you're awful.
Dude, I'll play for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me just play a game. I'm just going to play a game of Madden and turn my fucking brain off. I've been looking at computer screens editing all day, and now I just want to like do something mindless.
Right. And also,
like,
she doesn't get like, I'll play with my, like we play NHL together, and we have like a hockey club, and we play like 3-on-3s, and it's fun as fuck. But she doesn't understand, like, first of all, one of the other guys I play with is a comic who's my opener. Yeah. So like he's close to me. Also, his fiance is close to my wife. So she knows them intimately. And then the other guy she also knows. So we play like every night. I'm like, you understand? It's us hanging out. It's not so much the game. It's like us just hanging out together and like talking and bullshitting. I'm like, you just don't get it because women don't have friends. That's the answer. Like you guys don't understand what's like.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
No, they're soulless.
Women don't have friends. Here's what they have. Here's what women have. They have girls they work with, and they have guys that want to fuck them.
And acquaintances. They have acquaintances. They have girl acquaintances.
Yes, they have girls they work with, and guys that want to fuck them.
100%,
that's it. Women have no actual friends.
No, they can't be friends. In fact, the fact that like my wife is friends with my friend Blaze, my opener's wife, fiance, is like wild. Like they actually hang out. I'm like, this is crazy. This is gonna blow up eventually, but this is crazy for now. But so again, I literally saved my wife's life. So. She's drunk in the bathtub. I go check on her. Dude, the water's up to here. Nose level because she sunk down. And I was like,
she fell asleep in the tub?
Yep.
Yeah, mine too.
And I went,
mine
we're
does
done.
that too.
I went, we're done. And I fucking hit the water to drain it. Yeah. And I pull her out by like her hair. She's like, what? What are you doing? I was like, saving your life.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, you know what? You're right. I should have just fucking pushed your head under. That's what I should have fucking done.
And this is the thing I always say is like, you know why I got to keep you alive? Because if you die on my watch, your fucking mother will never let me hear the end of it.
No, it's all.
You could literally put a gun in your own mouth and pull the trigger, and your mother would be like, "Why did you do this to my daughter?" It's like, what? Why did I do it? I don't know. She's depressed. That is your responsibility. Make her not depressed. How?
My wife's parents would totally, because they understand like she's a fucking idiot, like a klutz also. But like, but people be like, you probably murdered her. It's like, no, she's dumb, and you guys know that.
Yes.
It's like,
how many innocent men are behind bars because their wives are retarded?
Fell down the stairs,
and they just had an unfortunate amount of evidence that supported foul play that didn't exist. You know what I mean? It's like no, she really did stab herself 7 times. Like she actually is that dumb. Yeah, she just kept getting up and falling down on the fucking silverware. She was trying to make a hot pocket, which doesn't even require cutting, but somehow she found a way to die. Like, yeah, she'll be out here with eggs, or she'll be out here making bacon. And
it's wild.
She's out here making bacon, and all of a sudden you hear pop, 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 pop. Screaming from, and I go, what are you doing? And she goes, the oil. I go, you don't need oil. Did you put olive oil in the pan before frying bacon? The bacon fat is the fucking, what are you doing?
Dude, my wife was like heating up fucking like just like a sauce in the microwave, and like it was kept blowing up, and she's like, it keeps blowing up. I was like, yeah, ready? I just put a paper towel over. I was like, Wow.
Done.
Watch this
Solved.
now. It's like it almost feels like I'm a pedophile for dating a child.
Yeah,
or marrying
dude.
a child. Like it's like
100%.
yeah.
100%. I go, if
and she's 2
anybody,
weeks older than me.
yeah, I go, if anybody saw how you are as a human being, they'd throw me in prison. That's where the birth. That's where the birth of this whole premise for this bit came out of.
I'm like, if your other coworkers saw you at home, they'd be embarrassed for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why men and women develop a short form baby talk with each other. It's because we have to put ourselves in the frame of mind of their actual intelligence. If I speak to her in the Kings, she's not going to follow me.
Yeah,
you gotta go. Do you want to go get some num nums for din dins? And she goes, yes.
It's almost like
it's not cute. It's necessary,
dude. It's almost like that thing of like I have to pretend you're a child to make this okay. And then if I think I'm dealing with another adult, I'll fucking kill myself.
Right. Yeah. And then they'll turn around and hit you with why don't you just pick me up and throat fuck me anymore? I don't know. After the 4th time today, I had to change your diaper. You kind of stopped feeling like a woman to me. So.
Yeah, I don't know, because what I had to change yourself because you peed yourself because you're drunk. It's like you're not too sexy anymore.
Yeah, it's like, I just feel like I have a 34-year-old infant. So, that's what we like is 150-pound baby. You know what I always wanted to fuck when I was growing up was a 150-pound baby.
It's also the thing is like
that's
Steph,
what I used to. That's what I. If you check my search history, it's in there. 150-pound baby.
Well, so I'm like, hey Steph, I'm only 40 pounds more heavier than you. I'm not that much bigger than you. It's like I can't just pick you up. like. Yeah,
it's just like it's ridiculous. We got to get out of here. We'll get into the bonus show, but awesome stuff. Listen, mark it in your calendars. April Fool's Day 2022 is when Adam and I started the Full Retard podcast.
Okay, I plug my New Hampshire gig.
Yes, plug the New Hampshire gigs before we get out of here.
April 30th up at the Shell in New Hampshire and Rollingsford, New Hampshire. It's right by Portsmouth. Coming out, I'm headlining up there. I'm bringing Neil Wood's gonna feature. Blaze is coming up for me to headline, open, and then Jesse Pedraza, our producer for Cult of Us, is also doing some time. So coming out to that, tickets available, droptent.com/events, especially to the Free State, fucking New Hampshire. All you libertarians coming out to that, please come. April 30th.
There you go. We'll get out of here. We'll do a bonus show real quick. We'll ask you some shit related questions, and then we're going to talk about. I have this weird lightning in a bottle feeling of like I feel like people would gravitate to this.
It's a brilliant idea.
It really it's like I remember when H. Foley and Kippy came up with Are You Garbage, and I was like, what a simple. Awesome idea for a podcast, and it just blew up and took off. And I was just like, so when I said like we should just do a podcast where we talk about the retarded shit our wives do and let other people call in and tell their stories, I was like, that's it. That's a podcast.
Yep, 100%.
So there we go. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, go to joshdenny.locals.com. You'll be able to get the talking shit portion of this. It'll be out on the podcast feed on Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in.